Hey there, hey there. Sorry about that. A little frog in my throat. A little excited. We have a luxury home training coming up. Haven't actually let the cat out of the bag in quite some time, and I'm prepared to teach 100 and only 100 people how to do this business once again. And this is limited to 100, and you can only come in if you're part of that 100. There will be no bribing and no finagling at all. If you're not in the 100, then you can forget it. You're not going to learn how to do this. So I'm going to share with you just a little bit of a snapshot as to what you're going to learn in Toronto, how to literally tie up millions of dollars worth of property like this one here that you see that we tied up in Orlando. Actually did this event, this auction, actually sold this property live in front of an entire group and made some money in front of an entire class not too long ago. So this is something that I do teach. I've been doing myself for many years. And actually, for those of you that know my story, know that I actually got out of complete hawk. Actually went from homeless to back in the game doing a luxury deal. So if you're struggling financially at all, and you do apply this information and you do get property at the right price, which is ripe right now, it's perfect timing, perfect market timing. You could, if you do what you're supposed to do, mirror these results. So I'm hoping that I see you at this event and that you do take action and do come here. So we use the magic of options, OPTIONs, options. A real estate option is a contract that allows you to control a property with literally $100 out of your pocket. We actually do have to give the $100 in this case for 90 to 120 days on a property. So an option allows you basically to control the property without owning it at all. So a real estate option is a very powerful tool, and we're going to get into how to use options, the conversations around finding a seller that's quite motivated that can't sell their house, because luxury properties do stay on the market for longer periods of time, and the sellers care less about money, they care more about peace of mind. So this is a property that we did tie up. We optioned it with $100 out of our pocket. This property had a high appraisal but a low listing price. It was listed for over $1 million, sorry, it was appraised for over $1 million. It had a low listing price of under $1 million. So the seller was pretty, keen on getting rid of the house, and we wanted to help the seller out and get them out of the property. But they had such bad experience with real estate agents. Agents basically put a sign in the yard and hoped it sold, and that's not the way to sell a property. You don't stick a sign in the yard and hope it sells. Where do most agents learn how to sell houses? From other agents that have never learned how to sell a house, because most agents have never learned how to sell properties in their MLS training or their agent training. There's no hours of marketing class on how to sell houses when you become a real estate agent. Where do most agents learn how to sell houses? From other agents that have never learned how to sell a house, who in turn have learned from other agents, learning from other agents, learning from other agents, going all the way back to Moses. So you got these Moses agents wandering around the street, putting a sign in the yard, hoping the house sells, which is really not the way you're supposed to do it. There's an actual strategy to selling a luxury home, and we create this auction process that basically attracts people, very wealthy people, to the house at the same time by doing literally a show, like almost a show. We have a furniture dealer that comes in and stages the house. We have art dealers that come in and stage the house. We have antiques that come in. We have antique cars. We have all sorts of things that are brought in, sold at an auction, and sold off, and the last thing that goes, of course, is the property. So remember, everything that sells in the property, you get a small piece on. So if you sell $100,000 worth of materials, and by the way, that's not that hard in a luxury home, because you could buy a vase from Walmart, sell it in a luxury home. It's no longer a vase. No, it's a vase. And it actually could sell for a lot more because it's coming from an estate sale that's coming from a property. So it's pretty cool, the psychological value that things have when they instantly come from a luxury home. And people go for an auction, they look at it, we basically train them to buy for 2 days. And by the time the house goes up for auction, you've already made money, which is awesome. We actually sold this at auction for $1.24 million and made a $471,300 profit on that deal. All right. So let's explain how this deal works. So the house sold for 1.24. There's a 10% buyer's premium, which is added on to whoever buys the property. They have to pay a buyer's premium by the auctioneer. They charge a 10% premium. Now, what's interesting is that I've negotiated with specific auction companies, which you have access to if you do this business, where you can actually get a percentage of the buyer's premium. In fact, we get half, which means that if you do this deal just like this, and there's a $124,000 buyer's premium, you would get $62,000 just by putting the auctioneer in that space. Now, why would they do that? Because they want the business to do more deals. So by giving you half the buyer's premium, which is already pre-negotiated, you actually get half, which is awesome. This is the proceeds from the house. The difference between the option amount, which is what we control the property for, which was in the 9s, and we sold this for in the 1.2s, and the difference between what you sold it for and what your option for is what you walk away with. So $315,000 is a lot of freaking money, specifically with the exchange rate now. If you're in Canada, that's like $1 billion. It's a lot. Now, in the house, there was nothing. Now, generally, we get free shit in the house, which is really cool. Because if you option a property, I generally try to negotiate the entire contents of the house, which means if you sell the house, you get to keep the goodies in the house. In fact, I drove a Maserati for a long time, and that came with a house, which is really, really cool. And you can do the same thing. I have some art in my house right now that's gotten from properties, and I could have sold it or I could have kept it. It's basically free money. Now, in this case, there was absolutely nothing in the house. It was a cave. People don't want to buy caves. They want to buy homes. So we need to stage the property, make it look really cool, really nice, and we import stuff, sell that, and anything that we sell, we actually make a small percentage on. So if someone brings in a vase, we make a small piece. If someone brings in a Rolls Royce, we make a small piece. If someone puts in a piece of art or a Picasso, we'll make a small piece. So you make a small piece on everything that sells in the house over a 2-day period, which is really exciting. Now, of course, if there's a buyer's premium on the house, don't you think there should be a buyer's premium on the stuff? Of course there is. And who gets half of the buyer's premium? Of course you do. So you actually generate another $17,900 on that stuff. So you're making $62,000 $124,000 on the property. $62,000 on the, I'm so excited I can't even do numbers. $62,000 on the buyer's premium, $315,000 on the actual proceeds. You didn't make anything from the actual sale of the property that was in there, but you still imported some stuff and still made 76 grand, which is more than most people make in a year. This is in US dollars, by the way. And then, of course, the buyer's premiums on the stuff that you've actually sold. Grand total with witnesses. Actually did this in front of 100 people. Last time I did this, $471,300 in your pocket. Now, would it be worth 2 days of your time to learn how to control multi-million-dollar mansions with only $100 out of your pocket, tie in a charity, which we haven't even talked about on this deal at all? I started adding charities to deals, so you actually have more people come. Tying in a buyer's list, because guys, all these people that come to the property, only one person can buy it, which means you have this huge buyer's list, because we have hundreds of people that show up for these things. Huge buyer's list of people that are looking for properties, luxury properties specifically, that generate 6-figure checks. Now, it's a very exciting program. When you tie in a charity, when you tie in sponsors, which we haven't even talked about, imagine having 500 or 100 to 200 to 300 sponsors, because you're building a list of 500-600 wealthy people that are coming to your event. Audi dealerships would like to buy those names. We're talking about art dealers would like to buy those names. Interior designers want to buy those names. These are all names that you can actually buy. You can actually be into the list brokering business, and we'll show you how to do that as well. So if you really want to have a lot of fun, because as you know, I only do things that are fun. If you want to learn how to flip mansions and even make money while you sleep, this is the event to go to. And the pièce de résistance is if you had not sold the property and you had not gotten this buyer's premium, you'd have still made $76,400 on the sale of the stuff and $17,900 on the premiums of the stuff, and that adds up to almost $90,000 not selling the house. So imagine getting into a deal, not even selling the house, and still making 90 grand, which is more than most people make in a year, all having literally the auctioneer do all the work. They're bringing in the shit, they're selling it, they're bringing in the next piece of crap, they're selling that, they're selling all this high-end stuff. You're making some money, and it's a really, really fun experience. So if you really want to do this, you got to cash in right now. I only have 100 spots. You have a link that you have been given. Click on that link. Take care of your business. I can't wait to see you at the next event. We'll see you soon.